Good. So, as she was saying before, my hands touching Valor equals something really wonderful. He's going to get constant treat after treat after treat just for me touching him, and Deb is going to be plunking one in his mouth, one after another. The second that my hands are removed from his body, the food stops. We teach him that if he's lucky, I'll touch him again. To have a good relationship with the person I'm working with, because we need to communicate together. So I want to make sure that she knows when I'm going to start touching and when I'm going to stop touching. Or if she runs out of treats, she's got to tell me so that I pull my hands away. So we have to have our good communication ready. So we're going to start just with his head so you can see it. Valor's very accustomed to this game. So
he also loves Melissa, so just that you think that he doesn't consider her high value, he does.
Are you ready to start?
He's on the platform for better
control. So you guys can see.
Oh,
that's all.
Just so you guys can see.
I thought that was a prerequisite to work there.
Yeah, none of us are pro.
We're all.
Stop.
So you have a handful of treats. You're not giving them like from your pocket.
No, and she's not marking behaviors either.
Classical conditioning, so hands-on means you get fed.
And as soon as her hands went off, Deb stopped feeding. So feed, feed, feed. She's continuing to feed.
Is there a better part to start?
Depends on the dog.
Okay. So as soon as Melissa says done, Deb's done.
And so what you guys probably didn't hear is Deb said, I'm running out of treats. That's my cue that says, Melissa, you have to take your hands off. Okay, thanks, Deb, got it.
Yep. Right, I'm ready.
So I'm going to do the rest of his body now. Ready?
Ready?
Go.
So can you guys see his tail? His tail is wagging, right? Because now this is pleasurable, but he's getting plenty of information to just stay still.
And stop. I think the most important part of this is the touching equals something good.
And I might add, this is a puppy who did not like to be touched.
Now he loves it.
Yeah. It's very
So we have to tell you a little funny story. Deb was taking him out a couple of weeks ago, and I ran into them in the hallway, and I was just chatting, and I came up, and I started petting him and scratching him between the ears, and he started nosing her. Like, I don't know if you see this, but she's touching me, and there's a rule that we have. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
But instead of correcting the dog or being frustrated with the dog for making the wrong choices, we are giving the dog the opportunity to do nothing but make the right choice. Right? So just like you're training muscle memory for anything, we're training the dog to do what to do in response to being handled.
Melissa, in regards to what you just said about when you met in the hall and he's looking at her and, okay, this is stuff. When do you know, when would you know that it's time to back off of those rewards, that he should be able to do this and not expect something?
When we're doing something like classical counter conditioning, I don't know that it's necessarily that you have to back off the rewards. Something like a physical exam, he's going to get a physical exam the rest of his life. And most of the times, it's not going to be when he's feeling well. So if they have to do something invasive, they have to roll him on his side, or if they have to look at an area, I want these dogs to think that vets dressed up in white jackets, touching you all over the place means nothing but wonderful things. So something like that, I don't know that I'm necessarily going to leave the treats out.
The reality is you in your public life are going to have people come up and inappropriately touch your dog. So you have two choices to make. You can let happen, whatever might happen. The dog that mugs people, the dog that's excited, the dog that's afraid of people, the dog that doesn't care. Or I can decide this is an opportunity for me to practice hands-on, hands-off. Because this is somebody who came up and didn't ask me and is just being that rude person. I still want the information to be for this dog that is going to happen and you're okay with it. I want a lot of foundation because I know that he's not was not happy about having his body handled. I want a lot of foundation before I go and test things, all right? So I think you need to understand that there again has to be a bank account for you to be able to see how this works. And I found after I started doing this technique and went to a boat show, an outing in Fort Wayne, where there were many people who came up and either asked to pet my puppy or didn't ask. And what I did was every time he got fed, the whole time they were petting him, what was really interesting, because now those people didn't become very valuable to him at all. He would be, oh, there's a person that's touching me, and just like Melissa said, hello, it's time to feed me. But I could stretch that out for the length of a handler's exam. But he needs to learn how to stay calm and under self-control on this. And if Melissa is higher value than I am, we're never going to win that game.
One of the things that we've been talking about is building that bank account. And so every time that I do this with Valor, I make another deposit, and I make another deposit, and I make another deposit. During your IRT, we're probably going to make a withdrawal. I'm taking it out because we're not using it in that one situation. But when we go back and we do all of our other training, I'm making deposits in it. So it's not going to hurt as much.